What's up, YouTube? So I'm going into unfamiliar territory here. So one of my subscribers has asked me to react to this movie trailer, which is something actually I don't think I've ever done before on my channel. And it's called The Lady of Heaven. It's apparently controversial, so always worth doing a reaction to something that's interesting like that. And here it is, and I will give you my views after I've watched this. So let's dive right into The Lady of Heaven.
The world is in shock as a group of terrorists has taken control of large areas of Syria and Iraq.
The world can be a cruel and dangerous place. Remember, even if you're afraid, be strong. Your loving mother, Fatima.
Did your mother ever tell you the story of the Lady of Heaven? She was very special. Daughter to the Prophet Muhammad.
My time is near. And afterwards, my lovely Fatima, you will face many trials.
With my father no longer here to lead us, evil is with those who will extinguish the light of truth.
You're gonna let a woman tell us what to do? We will burn her out!
God will judge all of you.
This world has become a breeding ground of violence. Shadow will be cast across many generations to come.
It said some people are so full of faith, they give strength to everyone around them.
The greatest thing in this life and the hereafter is the spreading of peace in the world.
Lady Fatima's goodness inspired people to stand up, no matter what the cost. Her legacy lives on.
Okay, well, it's not very controversial looking to me. Well, I can see why it might be controversial, but it doesn't obviously push any of my buttons. I mean, two things. First of all, I've got an enormous amount to say about this, but at the same time, obviously I know nothing about the film, and in a way I've sort of got nothing to say about it. So I'll try and explain. I mean, the reason I've got nothing to say about it is because what it appears to be is a film about Islam, and sort of the origin, the origins of faith, it said there. So I mean, I'm an atheist, so I don't believe in any of the stories of any of the religions. So that's sort of why I've in some ways got nothing to say, because I believe it's all made up. So controversial, well, it obviously won't be to me. You might as well make a story about Santa Claus and say that's controversial. Probably more people around the world believe in Santa Claus than, no, actually I'm not sure. Well, under 5-year-olds, let's say that. But I do know quite a lot about Islam, not necessarily the specific stories and chapters and verses of the Quran, but having watched a lot of Christopher Hitchens, who unfortunately died some time ago now, who was famous atheist journalist, wrote books, etc., etc., etc. Very sort of intellectual guy who was a very loud mouthpiece for atheism, and in fact he called himself an anti-theist. He was against religion, which is pretty much where I stand. Whoops, there go a few more subscribers. Still just cleansing the gene pool there of my channel. Yeah, I am an atheist, and I don't believe any of the stuff that we read in these ancient books. I very much doubt that Jesus existed, and I don't say that lightly. I say that from watching and listening to a lot of lectures and reading a lot of stuff. So Islam, I mean, Islam is the youngest religion of the main sort of well, you know, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, isn't it? Obviously Judaism is the oldest because it goes back to the Old Testament. Christianity sort of begun 2,000 years ago, and Islam, as we see there, 1,400 years ago. They're all quite long periods of time, which is why obviously there is no proof for any of it. It seems to be championing the idea, and I'm just guessing here, but I think it's a safe bet to say that, so this woman is the daughter of Muhammad, which is sort of weird, because if you think of Jesus, the idea that Jesus got married and had a son is a bit weird. I think Muhammad's wife was 11 when they got together, incidentally. Make of that what you will. There seems to be a bit of propaganda saying that Islam is a religion of peace, and if only we'd listened to the Lady of Heaven, then we wouldn't have jihadists running around blowing people up. Yeah, but there aren't there, unfortunately. And I'm not saying that Islam is necessarily any worse than any other religion. All religions have stormed around the world, killing people. The Salem witch trials, you know, the Crusades, Spanish Inquisition, which nobody expects, by the way, and many more religious skirmishes and colonizations, and yeah, that's why I'm not religious. And I just leave you with this thought. I mean, I could talk about this literally for hours, but I want to do a short video on this. You know, I suppose the main point of all this discourse on religion and violence and war is that you know, you don't find many atheists blowing themselves up in the name of atheism, and there's a good reason for that, which is that we're not blindly believing something because we're told to. In fact, I don't believe anything. I make a decision based on the information I've got, which is basically how all of us make all decisions, apart from religious ones where we're told we have to have faith, and faith is what you need when there's no evidence. So it's a sort of it's a misnomer, really, because how can you believe in something if there's no evidence for it? Oh God, ontological arguments on my channel. So there you go. I would urge you to watch Matt Dillahunty as well, who is obviously extremely well known, especially on YouTube, as another famous atheist and debater. And yeah, this will be controversial because I can already see there's going to be people within Islam disagreeing, saying they didn't portray this properly, they didn't portray that properly. They seem to show Muhammad being played by an actor, which is odd, isn't it? Because surely aren't there meant to be no representations of Muhammad? So I don't know how they got around that one somehow. But yeah, it's going to be controversial. I mean, it just reminds me of the Last Temptation of, well, not the Last Temptation of Christ. It reminds me of the Passion of the Christ, which was, I think, was made by Mel Gibson, wasn't it? I think he actually directed that. I was going to say Mel Brooks. That would be a whole other film. Yeah, Passion of the Christ, you know, essentially you're taking a story and making it breathe, making it live, which is fine. It's like Lord of the Rings, isn't it? But for me, no, not controversial, not particularly interesting. Interesting in the sense that, well, I will be watching eagerly to see what other people think of it. But for me, nice little fairy tale. Hopefully it's got some good acting and you know, a good story, a good narrative, but not for me. Thank you, and don't nobody go nowhere.